She was the most tragic heroine I had ever seen, on the brink of death. But her husband had cheated on her with her only close friend. Cheating wasn't enough, he even killed the one who was about to die. The heroine's name was Jiang Ziyuan. Heartbroken, she stood before the old house. As soon as she stepped inside, she saw the shoes she had given to Sumin. While she was puzzled, voices from ahead snapped her into place. She shook as she opened the door, and saw her husband with her friend. As they discussed how to spend the money after her death, Ziyuan suddenly said, "Who gave you permission?" The two on the bed froze in shock. Even when Park Min-hwan jumped up to explain, it was useless. "You think I'll just die like that? I'll get compensation for emotional distress and post big banners at your company. I'll tell your families and put it online. You'll never hold your heads up again." Sumin panicked. "Ziyuan, don't do this. Weren't we best friends?" Ziyuan now looked like a warrior of revenge. She finally saw this person's true face. Sumin collapsed to her knees with a thud. "Don't let my family or my company keep running. The living have to keep living. Besides, you're going to die anyway." Hearing that, Ziyuan grabbed her hair and hissed, "Young Sumin, I will finish you." Suddenly, Park Min-hwan swung his fist at Ziyuan. "If you're going to die, then die with dignity. Don't ruin other people's beautiful lives." Ziyuan was shocked again. "I ended up like this because of you and your parents. You took all my money to gamble on stocks. If I had gone to the hospital earlier, I could have survived. You criminal. Even if I die, I'll drag you all down with me." But Park Min-hwan's fist came flying once more. Her head slammed into the corner of the table. She fell to the floor and lost consciousness. When she woke up again, a familiar voice reached her ears. She shot up, staring at the mirror. She was alive again and even looked younger. Grabbing her phone, she realized she had gone back 10 years in time. Just as she was doubting her senses, Park Min-hwan suddenly called her name. Terror flooded her body once more. She trembled as she looked at the man before her. What a hypocrite, she thought, nearly throwing up from his fake concern. She quickly pulled her hand away and snapped, "Don't talk to me, don't even look at me." Then Sumin arrived after hearing the noise. Ziyuan thought, "These filthy lovers are still haunting me after death. Well, this is the first time I've really looked straight at that disgusting face." At that moment, Ziyuan wanted nothing more than to kill him. But suddenly, a voice called out to her. She turned and recognized Assistant Manager Yang. "The director is looking for you, better go see him." In her crystal clear memories of the past 10 years, there was only one person whose image remained blurry, Director Yu Ji-heek. He handed her a document and told her to leave work early. As she was about to go, she tripped over a trash can. She nearly fell, but the director reached out and caught her. "Are you all right? You look a bit dizzy." Back home, Ziyuan swore she would leave this place no matter what. "If I have to relive that hellish decade again, I'll never accept it." She didn't know why she had come back to life, or why things were happening that weren't in her memories. Just as confusion filled her mind, she slipped and fell again. The scene of falling before the director 10 years ago suddenly flashed back in her mind. When she ran toward the window, she realized it was spring outside. Instinctively, she reached into her pocket and found a call from Park Min-hwan. Ziyuan didn't even know where to go. Maybe this is just a dream, but why 10 years ago of all times? Then the director called again, saying new documents had arrived and asked her to handle them when she got to work. Ziyuan wasn't sure if she would even live to see tomorrow, but suddenly she felt something inside her pocket. When she pulled it out, she realized it was what the taxi driver from her previous life had given her. Tears streamed down her face. It was from her father. "This isn't a miracle or a dream. It's Dad's final gift to me. I really did come back 10 years. This time, I'll live differently. I'll live happily." Meanwhile, Park Min-hwan stared at the long list of missed calls, having no idea what had happened to Ziyuan. Sumin suddenly said, "Let's grab some fried chicken from that place up ahead and bring it over." But the director cut in coldly, "Mr. Park Min-hwan, it's still working hours. Please focus on your job until the end of the day." Sumin picked up her phone, scrolling through Ziyuan's pile of unread messages, and smirked at "So, you're ignoring me now?" Ziyuan returned to the old house and changed the doorbell. Today marked the restart of her life. After 10 years, she was back home again. Seeing those two familiar faces in the photo sent her deep into memories. Thinking back, every man she had ever liked had ended up confessing to Sumin. But now what truly mattered to her was this: a brand new beginning. Back in 2009, Ziyuan was short on cash. Seeing the small number in her bank book made her break into a cold sweat. While thinking of ways to make money, she suddenly remembered Park Min-hwan, the stock addict. This was the time when every stock he touched would skyrocket. Of course, later on he didn't just stop earning, he couldn't even live without her paycheck. Then a message popped up. That lunatic who said muscles are disgusting suddenly wants fried chicken? Zeon really wanted to move out, but before that she had to settle some unfinished business. She decided to meet Min-hwan at a street food stall. But just as Min-hwan was staring at his phone, the director called out, "Is the sample report due today still unfinished? And did you even check the samples? You were supposed to give me 10 but I only have 9. Focus please. This is a company, not your homework desk. Redo it and bring it back to me." Min-hwan's face turned pale, he clenched his teeth. What an infuriating man. At that moment Sumin handed him a small note. She really knew how to make people smile, acting all cute and charming. Guess I should go clean up the car early, he thought. That Zeon's used to that messy junk heap, but there's no way I'm letting Sumin sit in it. If it were Zeon, even if I messed up at work she probably wouldn't care, Min-hwan thought. Honestly, Jeong Zeon's kind of pathetic. At the same time, Zeon herself was frowning at her reflection, doubting her fashion sense from 10 years ago. It was awful. Back in this timeline she could finally see her friend's true colors. Someone who could even fall for her man. Sitting before the vanity, Zeon examined herself carefully. Since this is my last supper, there's no way I'm going out like this, she muttered, taking out her curling iron. Just then her phone vibrated off the table and fell. She reached out to pick it up, but froze midair. A memory flashed. In her past life she had done the same thing. Turned on the curling iron, then bent down to grab her phone after getting a message. The phone tangled in the cord, pulling the hot iron onto her wrist and burning her. But this time when she picked up the phone, her wrist was perfectly fine. That moment confirmed what she was starting to believe. Fate could be changed. The message from Min-hwan read, "I got you a gift." Memories from the past flooded back. Back then I had no idea how perfect the two of them were for each other. But this time, Zeon had already come up with the perfect way to take revenge. If you two were willing to ruin me just to protect your precious love, then fine. The me from 10 years ago will bless your romance. Sumin, you can marry Park Min-hwan for me. At the noisy street stall, Sumin and Min-hwan finally arrived. She wore the same cheerful smile, grabbed a seat just as fast and even pretended to look worried, just like before. As Sumin tucked her hair behind her ear, Zeon noticed the earrings. The same friendship earrings she had given her. How ridiculous. They didn't even suit her, yet she still flaunted them everywhere. Min-hwan looked surprised to learn the two were friends. Zeon never had many friends growing up, so she was always with me. Back then we were about the same height. But now she's so tall, like a giant. I was so jealous of her. She really was the most manipulative woman I'd ever seen, comparing hand sizes with Min-hwan right in front of Zeon, and taking the chance to call her a giant. Zeon thought to herself, we both ate the same school lunches. So how come I grew tall while you were busy doing what exactly? Seeing the tension, Sumin quickly raised her glass with a smile. Come on, let's toast. To our first drink together, the three of us. Zeon didn't even want to touch her glass, but decided to observe quietly, to see which parts of them were genuine and which were just masks. But the moment the chicken feet arrived, Sumin's face twisted in disgust. Didn't I say I like whatever Zeon likes? Zeon, you really love chicken feet that much? Are they even good? Zeon shot her a cold look. What's that supposed to mean? Weren't you the one who ordered chicken feet delivery with me last time, and drank 3 bottles of soju? That shut Sumin up instantly. Just then the fish cake soup arrived, but a drunk man stumbled over, spilling it all over Zeon's hand. It was the exact same spot she had been burned in her previous life. Sumin hurried to help, saying, let me see, what if it leaves a scar? Zeon slapped her hand away. Don't touch me. Then she stood up and walked straight to the restroom. Looking at her wrist, she sighed bitterly. She had escaped the accident at the office, but fate had found another way. The burn mark was identical to the one from the curling iron. So I'm destined to marry that lunatic again. Is fate really that unchangeable? In her heart she repeated to herself, no, not this time. Never again. Meanwhile, Sumin, who could easily handle 3 or 4 bottles, was pretending to blush after a single drink, putting on her best innocent girl act for Min-hwan. Her cheeks flushed pink as she giggled, hey, Assistant Park. What do you even like about our Zeon? Park Min-hwan didn't hold back. Zeon's kind and smart. Honestly, I've never met a girl I get along with as well as her. That's right, Zeon is kind, Sumin chimed in sweetly. Assistant Park, you really have good eyes. Please keep taking good care of our Zeon. Zeon could hardly stand to watch anymore. Sumin was actually trying to feed her fish cake. Zeon suddenly shoved the fish cake into her mouth. Eat up. Why so slow, huh? Looks like you're pretty drunk, Min-hwan said with a grin. Come on, I'll get you in a cab, your face is red. Take my hand. Though Sumin insisted she wasn't drunk, Zeon still waved over a taxi. Sir, please take her to the healing community, she said. And just like that, Sumin was sent away. It's that easy to get rid of her. Why was I such an idiot before? Always the one getting bullied? Meanwhile, Min-hwan sighed that it's a shame, though. Things were fun when Sumin was here. Zeon, you never act cute like she does. Her alcohol tolerance is terrible, yet she always wants to keep drinking. She's really adorable, you know? Adorable my ass, Zeon thought, forcing a smile. Let's drink a bit more. Tomorrow's the weekend anyway. Well, would you look at that? The sun must have risen from the west. You're actually pouring me a drink? He joked. But just as she poured, a bit of liquid splashed up, right when Zeon had taken off her glasses. When Zeon took off her glasses, Min-hwan was stunned. You look so much better without them, he said. Ever thought about getting laser eye surgery? Zeon hesitated for a moment before replying, maybe next year during my vacation. By then my salary should have gone up. Or maybe I'll just buy some stocks. That caught Min-hwan off guard. You're interested in stocks too? Zeon smiled softly. I don't really understand much about them. Could you teach me? You should have said so earlier. Come on, cheers. And just like that, Zeon managed to get him talking, learning both the basics of stock trading and his preferred investment targets. But when he walked her home, Min-hwan leaned in and gave her a goodnight kiss. The disgust made her whole body tremble. Back home, Zeon collapsed onto the sofa with a sigh. Well, I'm still learning, aren't I? First, electronics. That's the foundation. Then I bought a bit of decent instruments. They make semiconductor parts. And some J pharmaceuticals too. Now's the perfect time to buy. She sneered. Thanks, Park Min-hwan. I'll make sure to collect this emotional compensation properly. That day, Zeon turned down Min-hwan's date request, saying she wasn't feeling well. Instead, she went to the library to study investing. After just a few pages, she sighed. Why are there so many technical terms? I need to know what they mean before I even think about buying anything. Seriously, do they have beginner books? And why are the shelves so high? If someone over 170 centimeters like me can't reach, how's anyone else supposed to? Suddenly, a calm voice spoke behind her. Planning to resign, Miss Jiang Zeon? Startled, Zeon froze, her face turning pale. No. It's just, since Min-hwan's been trading stocks, I thought I'd try it too. The director said nothing. Just as she was about to slip away, he asked, Are you going to meet Park Min-hwan? Zeon quickly shook her head. No, not today. Please don't tell the others you saw me here. I told him I wasn't feeling well, but as you can see, I'm fine. I just wanted to spend the weekend alone. The director hesitated as if about to say something, then simply replied, Go home for now. I'll see you at work tomorrow. As she turned to leave, he added softly, Those earrings suit you. Much better than the ones you wore before. Zeon froze. Those were the friendship earrings Sumin had given her. So it was him. He's the one who told me they didn't suit me, she realized. Feeling oddly uneasy, Zeon hurried out of the library. The next morning she arrived early at the office. There was plenty of work to do. To her surprise, the director was already there, fast asleep at his desk, looking unexpectedly peaceful. If you're that tired, you could just come in later, Zeon murmured as she leaned closer. Whoa. His skin looks even better up close. And he's actually handsome without his glasses. But suddenly the director opened his eyes, and their gazes met. Zeon panicked. I left early last Friday, so I figured I should make up for it today. Wait a second. Did he just call me Jiang Zeon? Not Miss Jiang Zeon? No, focus. She took a breath. Park Min-hwan told me to buy Ju Pharma. It's at 8,001 now. It'll quintuple in a month. Who would have thought? The director, who never even spoke to her in her past life, was now bringing her breakfast. Zeon almost refused out of habit but caught herself. No, I need to get over this. She smiled politely. Thank you, director. I'll enjoy it. He gave her a look she couldn't read and said calmly, then get back to work. Did he just frown? Seriously, what's with this guy? Whatever. I've got more important things to do. 8:23 a.m. She finished her sandwich and logged into the trading system. 8:29 a.m. She placed a buy order for Jew Pharma. 8:30 a.m. Total of 2,510 shares, roughly 20 million won in value. 8:45 a.m. The last people she wanted to see appeared, claiming they just run into each other near the office. Sumin was the first to greet her cheerfully. Hey Zoon. Ziyuan's tone turned cold. We're at work. Call me Assistant Jiang. Even Manhwa tried to tease her. Since when do you drink Americanos? Don't you always go for cappuccinos? This one's from the director, Ziyuan replied coolly. 10 years ago I really did love the sweetness of a cappuccino. But now I prefer the bitterness, the richer, deeper taste of an Americano. Park Manhwa, you're just like a cappuccino, fake sweetness hiding something rotten underneath. He's probably buying stocks too. But does he really think I'll let him make all the money alone? Ziyuan pretended to walk by casually, sneaking a glance at Manhwa's computer screen. To her shock, he was about to sell all his shares. She froze on the spot. At exactly 9:00 a.m. Park Manhwa sold every single share of J Pharma he owned. Her mind went blank. Has the future changed? This isn't right. He wasn't supposed to sell now. Ziyuan stared at the blinking numbers on his monitor, confusion clouding her face. That stock should quintuple in a month. The only fate I wanted to change was mine. So why is the entire future shifting too? 10 years ago he'd made several times his money by investing in J Pharma. But now Park Manhwa had sold early after earning just a small profit. He owned 3,500 shares. He clearly placed a sell order, but why did he dump them the exact moment I bought in? Lost in thought, Ziyuan was startled when Manhwa suddenly spoke. Miss Yeon, what are you thinking about? You look so serious. She hesitated, then feigned calm. Oh, right. J Pharma went up a little again. I sold mine too after making a small profit. Heard some good news over the weekend. NW Tech. Apparently they're collaborating with S Electronics using new mobile tech. It's gonna blow up soon. Even Ziyuan, who wasn't that into stocks, recognized the name. The company claimed to have breakthrough smartphone technology, and its shares had skyrocketed tenfold in a short time. A month later, the CEO of NW Tech fled overseas, leaving investors with massive losses. This is top-tier insider info, Manhwa whispered. I'm only telling you because it's you. Don't share it with anyone. If something that never happened before now takes place, the future will inevitably shift. That means everyone connected to it, their fate will change too. And if what's meant to happen still happens in the end, does that mean I've stolen someone else's luck? Fine, let's put that theory to the test. Later, Ziyuan approached Manhwa first. I was about to grab lunch. Want to join me? But before he could answer, Sumin walked over with a bright smile. This is our first time eating together at the office, isn't it? All three of us. Manhwa blinked in confusion. What's going on with Ziyuan today? She used to insist office dating was risky and refused to eat with me. But now she's smiling one moment, cold the next. What's she planning? Then Sumin suddenly chimed in. That shirt, I don't think I've seen it before. Yes, it new. It looks great on you, really suits you. You just finished complimenting this crisp white shirt, and in seconds it's going to be splashed red by your soup. In the company cafeteria, Sumin ordered the special new soup, even asking the lunch lady to ladle extra. She stood there with her tray, glancing around the room as if searching for a seat. Meanwhile, Ziyuan silently counted in her head. 3. The moment Sumin turned around, Ziyuan sidestepped gracefully and Manhwa, unlucky as ever, took the full hit, the bright soup staining his white shirt crimson. Sumin's face went pale. What? Why was Park Manhwa standing behind me? Manhwa forced a strained smile. It's fine really. But inside he was fuming. That was a 1.2 million won designer shirt. Forget it, he told himself. It's Sumin after all. Sumin blinked innocently. I just couldn't find Ziyuan. So I turned around for a second. Ziyuan suddenly spoke up. Don't just ask if he's okay. Go grab some napkins. Come on, hurry. You're the one who spilled it. She sighed dramatically, pretending to fuss. Oh no, what should we do? You really liked this shirt, didn't you? It's the one you gave me for our anniversary. I'll try washing it out first. Meanwhile, in the restroom, Ziyuan heard someone frantically calling for help. Judging by the tone, she immediately knew what was needed. I'll hand it to you under the door. It's in my makeup bag. Pick whichever one you need. A relieved voice replied, I was worried my clothes were ruined, but you even brought a cardigan. Thank you so much, my savior. You really saved me. When the girl stepped out, she gasped. Wait, my savior is Assistant Jiang. No one usually comes in here. I didn't have my phone and I didn't even get to eat. I thought I was going to be stuck forever. Her name was Yu Hyun, a 25-year-old rookie who joined the company a month ago with Sumin, now calling Zayun me savior over and over. Someone saw me earlier and didn't help, just walked away that if it weren't for you I'd be doomed. But thanks to that, I met my savior. Ziyuan smiled and invited her to lunch. That person who ignored you was really awful. Hyun lowered her voice. I know that type. They act all kind and sweet when others are watching. And right on cue, Sumin appeared, smiling her usual fake smile. I just saw someone who needed help. I couldn't ignore it. I've always been that kind of person since I was a kid. Always looking after Ziyuan. Back in school, Ziyuan had always been a bit of a loner. Even Manhwa had heard about it. Sumin, you must have had a hard time mediating between everyone back then. The more I see you, the more I think you're such a good person, he said warmly. But what he didn't know, just minutes ago, Sumin had ignored Hyun's cries for help in the restroom. Now she smiled sweetly and lied, I actually ran into someone stuck in the restroom earlier. I helped her out. When she thanked me, it really warmed my heart. Meanwhile, Ziyuan returned from the restroom with Hyun in tow. We just ran into each other. Mind if she joins us? From the moment Hyun sat down, Sumin's expression soured. She joined the company the same time I did. Why does she always act so confident? Even Manhwa noticed. Looks like Hyun and Ziyuan have been getting close behind my back. Hyun smiled politely. Assistant Jiang helped me earlier. By the way, Assistant Park, is your shirt okay? It looks pretty expensive. Manhwa grinned. It's fine. It's just a shirt. Just a shirt. That's the one I gave you, Ziyuan thought bitterly. As Hyun took another bite, Sumin sniped, wow, you eat a lot for a girl. Hyun didn't rise to it, simply replying, my grandpa used to say, a good appetite is a blessing. But Sumin leaned forward with a smirk. Oh really? And what great things did your grandpa ever do? Hyun kept chatting politely, completely missing the sarcasm in Sumin's tone. Ziyuan watched quietly, not sure if the girl was too kind or just too naive. After lunch, Manhwa excused himself to get back to work. Ziyuan mentioned going to the cafe for a drink and Sumin suddenly threw her arms around her. Then get me a hot cappuccino, she said with a grin. Ziyuan's face hardened as she swiftly pulled her hand free. Once Ziyuan was gone, Sumin's smile vanished instantly. Hyun, that cardigan. It's Ziyuan's, isn't it? Since when did you two get so close? I've never seen you talk to her at work before. Hyun explained awkwardly, I got stuck in the restroom earlier. Ziyuan helped me, she passed me some sanitary items and even lent me clothes. Sumin froze. Don't tell me she recognized my voice. When Hyun mentioned the restroom incident again, Sumin's expression darkened. She quickly changed the subject. That's just how Ziyuan is. Always meddling in other people's business. Even strangers. Don't put too much faith in your savior. Her tone softened with faint concern. I've known her a long time and sure we get along. But you know what they say, you can't see through a person's heart. I'm only saying this for your own good, Hyun. Hyun's smile faded, her eyes cold. Meddling in others' business? You mean like prying into what other people's grandfathers did? She added sharply, if you're that nosy, why didn't you tell me you didn't have any sanitary products? I guess I should be careful too. After all, people's hearts are hard to see through. As the elevator doors closed, Sumin's face turned pale. What did she mean by that? Did she hear me lying earlier? Just as panic set in, the section chief walked up to her. Instantly, Sumin switched to her practiced smile. Chief, your tie looks so handsome today, she purred. The older man nearly puffed up with pride. Ever since you joined, Sumin, I actually look forward to coming to work. Before, there were only 2 women in the office. One old lady and one skinny as a stick. But you, Sumin, you're beautiful and full of charm. Only you understand me, Chief, she said sweetly. I've been so tired lately, but hearing that really lifts my spirits. The chief leaned closer. What's been tiring you, Sumin? Tell me, this senior will take care of it. Oh, it's nothing serious, she replied coyly. It's just not the place to talk. Maybe after work you could buy me a glass of soju? Meanwhile, Ziyuan hadn't seen the director during lunch. Did he skip eating again? I wonder if that grain smoothie is enough for him. After what happened earlier, she finally understood. Luck could indeed be taken. For someone who knows the future, could there be a world more favorable than this one? This time I won't let anyone take what's mine. She returned with the coffee, noticing the office was still empty. Looks like no one's back yet. Where's the director? There he was again, asleep on the couch. That he really slept this much even 10 years ago. Seon thought, carefully setting a cup of coffee beside him. But just as she turned to leave, a hand suddenly grabbed her wrist. Jiang Zeon, a calm voice said. Come with me. Zeon froze, panic flashing across her face. The director suddenly stood up, his voice calm but cutting. Mr. Park Minhwan, what do you think you're doing? Minhwan instantly shrank back. I just had something to discuss with Zeon. Even if it's lunch break, this is still company property. The director interrupted coldly. Personal matters can wait until after work. I'll assume you understand what I mean. He glanced briefly at Zeon. Thank you for the drink, Miss Zeon. As he walked away, Zeon stood frozen. Was he helping me? No, he probably just didn't like being disturbed during his nap. When she turned back, Minhwan was glaring at her, eyes filled with the same venom she remembered from before. He muttered under his breath, we'll talk after work. Fear gripped her whole body. That face. That tone. It's exactly the same as before I died. Her hands trembled uncontrollably. Suddenly, a gentle voice called from behind. Miss Yoon, do you have a moment? It was Assistant Yang. She offered a warm cup. Here, peppermint tea. It's better than coffee for calming nerves. You looked pale earlier. Is everything all right? Zeon forced a smile. I'm fine, just tired from work. You're too dedicated, Yang said softly. You should slow down a little. After I gave birth, I realized health matters more than anything. Those words struck Zeon hard. Right, 10 years ago she quit not long after coming back from maternity leave. Something must have happened back then. Zeon looked at her seriously. Assistant Yang, are you doing okay lately? Me. It's just Chief Kim making my life miserable, Assistant Yang sighed. She keeps bringing up my maternity leave, using it as an excuse to dump extra work on me. But thanks to capable co-workers like you, Miss Yeon, I've managed to hang in there, she said with a gentle smile. So don't carry everything alone. If you ever feel tired, talk to me. We're colleagues, aren't we? I'll make you some warm tea next time. Zeon's cheeks flushed red. 10 years ago. How did I never notice I had such a kind colleague by my side? One thing was certain now. After being reborn, she began to see the warmth she'd once overlooked. The three women chatted easily, laughter filling the air. Assistant Yang even showed them a photo of her daughter. She looks just like me, right? It breaks my heart to drop her off at daycare every morning, but what can I do? I have to work hard to raise her. Just then, Sumin and the section chief walked in. The three women immediately fell silent, scattering like startled birds. Sumin's eyes narrowed, her smile fading. Jiangzu, you're laughing with other people, without me? When the director announced the end of the workday, Minhwan's gaze remained fixed on Zeon. She fidgeted nervously, unaware that every subtle movement was being quietly observed by the director. After work, Zeon hid in the restroom typing out a message. I already left. But his reply came almost instantly. I'll wait for you at the office. 20 minutes passed. Zeon stayed in the restroom, whispering to herself, it's fine. Don't be scared. I'm not the same helpless woman I used to be. If I don't want to suffer the same fate twice, I have to be the one to change first. Taking a deep breath, she stepped out, only to run right into the director by the elevator. Miss Jiang Zeon, leaving just now. I had some things to handle at the management department, he said calmly. The moment felt a little awkward, but thankfully the elevator arrived quickly. What if Park Minhwan is still waiting outside? I'd rather die than see him again. Then the director spoke. Miss Zeon, if you don't mind, I can give you a ride home. Zeon nodded hesitantly and got in. After she told him her address, he said casually, oh, what a coincidence. I have an errand near there. As the car started moving, her eyes caught sight of a luxury lipstick in the console. So he has a girlfriend. Well, of course he does. A man like him wouldn't be single. The moment they drove out of the parking lot, her stomach dropped. Park Minhwan was standing by the exit, waiting. Zeon immediately lowered her head, heart pounding. The director noticed and said quietly, don't worry. The tint is dark, he can't see inside. Relief flooded her chest. Thanks to the director giving her a lift, Zeon made it home safely. Otherwise, she had no idea how she would have faced that man again. As soon as Zeon got home, the director's phone rang. A rough male voice came from the other end. Hey big bro, what's going on? You haven't shown up lately. The director leaned back in his seat. I can't make it today. Handle things yourselves and don't cause trouble. Meanwhile, Sumin clinked glasses with the section chief. The air reeked of cheap air freshener, and the balding, middle-aged man across from her reeked of loneliness and alcohol. What the hell am I doing? Drinking with this guy? How pathetic. She forced a smile, bitterness bubbling inside. I bet Jiang Ziyuan's out right now, having a cozy dinner with that handsome designer shirt-wearing Park Min-hwan. The old man's face was flushed, eyes glazed. Drinking with a pretty girl like you, Sumin, this is heaven. Come out with me more often, okay? You can tell me anything, brothers listening. Sumin put on her sweetest smile. It's just, Hyun and assistant Yang seem to hate me for some reason. The man slammed his hand on the table. What? That's ridiculous. Sumin sighed dramatically. But what can I do? I don't have the right to say anything. If I end up quitting, don't be too sad, okay, Appa? Quit? No way. He barked. I'll deal with them myself. That so-called director. I'm the real second in command around here. Sumin giggled softly. Even if you're just saying that, thank you. I really just want to get along with everyone. They're the ones being unfair. He roared. Don't worry, brother will fix everything. Tonight we drink our troubles away. As she raised her glass, a cold glint flashed in Sumin's eyes. Simple-minded and easy to manipulate. Just the way I like them. Now all I have to do is sit back and enjoy the show. At that moment, Ziyuan's phone buzzed. A new message from Sumin popped up. You really play the role well. Doesn't Park Min-hwan ever get tired? Just as Ziyuan was about to change her number, her phone buzzed. Park Min-hwan. Where are you? His voice came through, low and unpleasant. Let's meet and talk. I have nothing to say to you, she replied flatly. His tone darkened. I heard you bought the director coffee today. It wasn't coffee, it was a grain smoothie, Ziyuan said, trying to stay calm. He got me coffee this morning. I was just returning the favor. And seriously, when there are only 2 people in the office, am I supposed to buy just mine and drink it in front of him? Then why'd you turn off your phone? He snapped. Because you yelled at me, she shot back. I didn't feel like talking, that's all. She was about to hang up when his voice softened suddenly. I love you. Ziyuan froze, then flung the phone away like it burned her hand. Did you? She whispered, trembling. Did any of you ever have a moment of real love for me? 10 years ago there were good people around me too. But I never truly saw them, maybe because I was too ashamed of my own misery to face their kindness. Even though some of them were quietly watching over me all along. Then it hit her, her eyes widened. Assistant Yang Chulon Yang, she breathed. I remember now, the misfortune she carried, the one I never noticed. When Assistant Yang finally arrived home late at night, her husband barked from the couch. Why are you so late? I'm starving here. She sighed, exhausted. Then at least help bathe the baby while I make dinner. But he scoffed. Can't. I've got plans, meeting someone tonight. She froze. Again. You can't be serious. Didn't you see I just worked overtime? Oh please, he snapped. I spent all day sending out resumes and picked up our kid from school. I'm tired too. Their voices rose, clashing until the house fell silent. In the end, only mother and daughter remained. Her husband stormed out, just like before, back when she was pregnant, always using job hunting as an excuse to do nothing. Am I the only one trying anymore? She thought bitterly, cradling her child while checking her work messages. Every time the baby cried, she dropped everything to soothe her. After finally rocking the baby to sleep, she collapsed beside her, drifting off in sheer exhaustion. The next morning, shouting echoed through the office. This is your proposal. Are you kidding me? Even the new hires could do better. Did you lose all your skills after maternity leave? Do I have to teach you every single thing again? You've been here for years. Assistant Yang managed to stammer. I'll revise it and resubmit by tomorrow. Forget revising. The section chief barked. Start over from scratch. I want it on my desk tomorrow morning. Ziyuan clenched her fists. He always picks on her when the director's not around. Across the room, Sumin stood by with a faint, satisfied smile curling on her lips. Just what the hell is she smiling at? Ziyuan found Assistant Yang slumped over her desk, completely drained. Let me make the tea this time, she said softly. A flicker of doubt crossed her mind that if I interfere with someone else's fate, what will happen? But then she smirked. So what? I've already died once. I'm the only one who knows how this world truly works. Listen to me carefully, she said firmly. Do not redo the proposal. Just change the font and the layout, then resubmit it. Because Chief Kim never actually read your report. If he blows up after realizing it's the same one, I'll help you redo the whole thing myself. Assistant Yang blinked in confusion as Ziyuan handed her a small recorder. Every time he yells at you, record it, Ziyuan said. Yang hesitated. But, I do feel kind of bad that I heard Chief Kim had it rough while I was on maternity leave. Ziyuan raised an eyebrow. Rough? I handled over half your workload myself and the rest was divided among the team. Maybe he was only tired from throwing reports around all day. Just act like you don't know anything. Keep recording. Trust me, it'll come in handy soon. The moment they stepped out, they saw Chief Kim berating Hyun in front of everyone. Right, I remember this point 10 years ago. She transferred to another department because of him. Ziyuan's eyes hardened. You always wait until the director's gone to play king of the office, Kim Kyung-wook. Let's see who gets kicked out this time. It won't be Assistant Yang. It'll be you. The next day, Assistant Yang followed Ziyuan's advice. She only changed the font and layout before resubmitting the proposal. Sure enough, the section chief didn't notice and simply barked, redo it. The third day, then the fourth. He stayed exactly the same, nitpicking, sneering, finding fault in everything. A week later, he finally nodded. This proposal's acceptable, I suppose. Make some copies for the team, we'll use it for the meeting. Then, in his usual condescending tone, but don't expect another chance next time. So he really never read it properly, Yang thought. All I did was change the font and layout and he didn't even notice. Miss Ziyuan was right. Ziyuan handed the meeting proposal to the director. He glanced up and said casually, Miss Hyun went to buy coffee. No need to prepare any for the meeting. Moments later, Hyun returned, arms full of Americanos. Here's everyone's coffee, she said cheerfully. But don't thank me. The director's the one who paid. The director smiled faintly. Always so considerate, Miss Hyun. Then the warmth in the room shattered. Who bought this coffee? The sharp voice cut through the air. The section chief glared up, his tone dripping with disdain. You think you're something special, huh? The section chief's tone grew harsher. Coffee from cafes costs a fortune and tastes awful. Who drinks that first thing in the morning? There's plenty of instant coffee in the break room. You're just a contract worker and you use the company card without permission. Suddenly, a calm but authoritative voice came from behind her. Chief Kim Kyung-wook, the director said evenly, that card was mine. I gave it to her. She used my personal card. I'm not fond of instant coffee. Ziyuan froze in shock. No one in the entire office had ever used the director's card before. The meeting began shortly after. This proposal was prepared by Assistant Yang, correct? The director asked. Yang stood up and began explaining carefully. This product is designed for 1 to 2 person households. Page 3 shows the ingredient list, and page 5 details the packaging concept. But the director frowned, flipping through the document. This page isn't the ingredient list, it's the packaging examples. The section chief immediately lost his temper. I told you to hand the original to the director. What on earth are you doing? Before he could say more, the director cut in coldly. Assistant Yang, is this the proposal that was returned to you earlier? Then his eyes turned sharp. Chief Kim, tell me, why did you reject this proposal in the first place? Chief Kim shook his head, avoiding eye contact. I don't really know. Maybe Assistant Yang was in too much of a rush. She probably just pieced some stuff together from the internet. I sent it back a few times, but the last version looked decent, so I approved it. Bang. The director slammed the proposal onto the table. His eyes were sharp, his tone like ice. These 2 drafts are identical, only the formatting is different. So tell me, Chief Kim, why did you reject one and approve the other? Chief Kim had no real explanation. Cornered, he snapped and raised his voice. What's wrong with you, Assistant Yang? How could you mess up something this basic? But before he could go on, a soft, trembling voice broke the silence. I'm sorry. Everyone turned to look. Ziyuan slowly stood up. The original proposal was made by Assistant Yang Juran, she said steadily. But this version, was made by me. She hasn't been feeling well lately, so I wanted to help her out. But I thought the file she gave me was just for reference. Ziyuan explained calmly. So I recreated it myself. Since Assistant Yang didn't have time to redo everything, she submitted the one I made. She took a quiet breath. It was also my mistake that the first draft ended up on your desk, Director. Chief Kim's face flushed red with anger. He slammed his palm on the table. Assistant Kong, are you out of your mind? You can mess up anything else, but not this. Before he could finish, the director's cold voice sliced through the room. And tell me, who exactly are you blaming right now? Silence fell. Everyone could see it clearly. Every word the chief had shouted now turned back and struck him instead. The chief was about to apologize, but the director interrupted. No need to apologize. Submit a detailed report by tomorrow. Chief Kim froze on the spot. Zeon handed the new proposal to the director. He said calmly, from now on, skip the first review and send it directly to me. Zeon and Assistant Yang exchanged a brief smile, while Chief Kim's face turned dark. To be honest, Zeon had been scared, but everything turned out fine. She only hoped that Assistant Yang wouldn't have to leave the company again. Just then a message popped up on her phone, from Sumin. Zeon frowned. She couldn't even remember making plans this week. Whatever, she thought, I'll just say I can't make it. But as she typed her reply, her fingers froze. That date? It was the one she had always wanted to erase from her memory. That day Sumin said she'd take her to a nice restaurant. But instead she brought her to a class reunion. The classmates whispered among themselves. No one here even wants her around. She probably begged Sumin to bring her. Look at those earrings, she's totally copying Sumin. Just then Sumin smiled brightly and wrapped an arm around her. My best friend Zeon is here too. How could we have a reunion without her? Zeon's face immediately darkened. She forced a polite smile and said, excuse me, I need the restroom. But once inside, familiar voices drifted through the stalls. Sumin's too kind for her own good. She was always getting taken advantage of in school, always looking after Zeon. And even now at work she still drags her along. That girl doesn't even know how to be grateful. If it were me, I'd have cut her off long ago. The two girls in the restroom suddenly remembered. Zeon had said she was coming there too. They froze, exchanged a glance and bolted out in a panic. Zeon stayed inside for nearly 30 minutes. When she finally stepped out, the reunion was over. Everyone was gone, even Sumin. And right then she happened to run into Baek-eun-ho. A voice suddenly snapped her back from her thoughts. What are you daydreaming about in the restroom? Zeon forced a small smile. Just thinking about work. You really are a workaholic, Assistant Kong, he teased. Your brain needs some air once in a while. Got plans for Sunday? Gorosigil's really popular these days. Want to check it out with me? Sunday, that was the same day she'd already agreed to meet Sumin. Well, sure. Let's go during the day, she said. Hyun lit up instantly. Yay. I'll plan an amazing route for us. Zeon noticed the lipstick Hyun was wearing. The exact same shade she'd seen in the director's car. She recalled the rumors that Hyun and the director were dating, and she'd even used his card once. But they're complete opposites, Zeon thought. Maybe that's why he likes her. Hyun couldn't hide her excitement about spending the day with Zeon. All the trending shops are in Gorosigil and my regular hair salon's there too. I know that area like the back of my hand. Just then the director appeared behind them. You two going out together this weekend? The moment Hyun saw him, she panicked, grabbed Zeon's hand and ran off. Zeon was confused, but more certain than ever that there was something going on between them. On Sunday morning, Zeon stopped by an eyewear shop. She looked at her reflection. She couldn't show up to the reunion looking like this, so she took off her glasses and tried on contact lenses instead. When she met up with Hyun later, the latter froze in surprise. You're wearing contacts. Wow, you look completely different. So pretty, she smiled. Even movie stars look better with lenses than glasses. Zeon chuckled. I guess it's the same for guys. I saw the director without his glasses once. He looked way more handsome. That line made Hyun stiffen immediately. Anyway, she stammered, quickly changing the subject. I planned a bunch of fun stuff for us today, my dear lifesaver. She brought Zeon to her favorite salon. The stylist, Tony, studied her hair and said, your texture's great. I'll give you a soft wave that suits your face. Let's trim it first, then go with slightly larger curls. While we're perming, we'll also do your makeup. Something natural but refined. Then we'll blow the ends inward for a gentle finish. When Tony was done, even Hyun's eyes welled up. Oh my god, where did this goddess come from? The curls, the makeup, it's all perfect on you. Zeon stared at her reflection, barely recognizing herself. Just then her phone rang. It was Sumin. Zeon, you remember we're meeting today, right? Make sure you wear the earrings I gave you. Zeon smiled faintly. Since it's a request from the one who took out my trash, of course I'll wear them. Come on, let's go shopping. Hyun said excitedly, linking arms with her. Meanwhile, at the class reunion, the chatter had already begun. Sumin still hanging out with Zeon. After everything that happened? She's such a pushover. All that beauty wasted on bad judgment. So what's Zeon even doing these days? Still dressing weird and wearing those grimy glasses. Don't say that. I heard she's actually looking pretty good lately. Yeah, and she's on her way now. Sumin dialed her number. I'm already inside. Where are you? If you can't find the place, I'll come get you. No need, came Zeon's calm reply. I'm already here. The moment she stepped inside, every voice went silent. Sumin and the others could only stare. Was that really Zeon? What on earth had happened to her? When Zeon arrived at the restaurant, Sumin's face instantly stiffened. I saw the reunion banner outside. Zeon said coolly, didn't you say it was just the two of us having dinner? Flustered, Sumin quickly grabbed her arm with a nervous smile. It's a surprise. Come on, say hi to everyone. Turning to the group, she announced brightly, look who's here. She's my best friend. Of course she couldn't miss this. Then someone gasped. Wait, is that the Kong Zeon? The one who used to wear round glasses. She looks stunning. I almost didn't recognize her. Zeon blinked, the voice sounding faintly familiar. What, don't remember me? Guess I got too handsome, huh? It's Kim Taesung. Zeon finally recalled him. He chuckled. Hey, you two are wearing the same earrings. They look amazing on you. Sumin. Kinda looks like you stole your mom's jewelry. Sumin's smile froze, her face darkening. A few classmates tried to joke it off. Wow, Zeon, you're ruthless. Didn't even compliment her back. Zeon rose calmly. Excuse me, I need the restroom. As she passed by, whispers followed her every step. She's gorgeous now. Yeah, makes Sumin look ordinary in comparison. Sumin's expression darkened. What's going on? Your hair, your clothes, your shoes, even your bag. What is all this? Zeon didn't answer. She walked into the restroom, stopping in front of the third stall from the left. The one etched in her memory from 10 years ago. Sumin, I need to know what you've been saying about me all these years. Why do your friends hate me so much? Suddenly her phone buzzed. A message from the director. She snapped it shut, but outside the sharp voices of mockery returned. Every word cut like a blade. Zeon clenched her fists. She wouldn't run away this time. As they turned to leave, the stall door swung open. All right then, Zeon said coldly. Why don't you tell me, what exactly did I do to Sumin back in school? One of the girls scoffed. Wow, thick-skinned much. You probably heard her just like that back then. What? Was it about Baek-eun-ho? Yeah, you knew Sumin liked him, but you wouldn't let her confess, because you liked him too. All that over a guy. He said a few nice things to you and you thought he was yours? Zeon's chest tightened. She knew that wasn't true. It wasn't Sumin he liked. It was her. And yes, she had liked him too. But Sumin had never once told her she liked Baek-eun-ho, and Zeon had never tried to stop her. Of course you don't remember, one classmate sneered. But Sumin's been miserable over it ever since. Even bombed her entrance exams. And you went off to that fancy university in H-City. Now that she's at UK, you think she'll just let you be. She'll never forgive you, not after what you did. Zeon calmly slipped her hand into her bag. The UK Sumin re talking about. I'm the one who recommended her, as a contract employee by the way. The classmates froze in disbelief. What? But Sumin said she got in through open recruitment. Zeon gave a faint smile. As you can see, I'm too busy with work to care about appearances. Oh, and by the way, Hanji, that bag you're carrying, it's fake. Hanji's face went pale with panic. Zeon's tone stayed calm, but every word cut sharp. All these years you believed Sumin's stories, bullied me in school, spread rumors, mocked me for things you never even confirmed. You acted without knowing the truth. If you can bring me a department store receipt, I'll apologize for calling your bag fake. What's wrong? Angry? Hurt? I am too. But if you don't believe me, go ask Sumin yourself. She picked up her bag, turned and said quietly, it was nice seeing you all. Let's make sure it's the last time. As she left, her steps grew steady again. She finally understood what kind of lies Sumin had told behind her back. Just then Sumin arrived, slightly out of breath. What are you doing out here? Zeon gave her a faint smile. Just chatting with our old classmates. About you mostly. You should head in. Baek-eun-ho, the once glorious student council president. His brightness had always drawn Zeon in, like sunlight she could never reach. He had rejected her confession with cold indifference, only to confess to Sumin soon after. But that was all long ago. She murmured softly, he didn't come tonight. I bet he's even more handsome now. At that same moment Baek-eun-ho was on the phone, asking where Zeon was. And as the door opened, the two of them passed each other, separated by only a step, yet by 10 years of silence. Wait, Baek Eun-ho called out as realization hit him. Anyone could tell. It's you, Kang-seon. I've been looking for you for so long. Finally I found you. For a moment, Seon felt her chest tighten, but then the memory of his old, disdainful expression flashed in her mind. Why now, of all times? She turned to leave, but he stepped closer. That I came here just to see you. Please, give me a minute. Let's talk. Just then a composed voice broke in. Miss Kang-seon, I'm here to pick you up. It was the director. Zeon's heart wavered for a second, but she quickly composed herself. Remembering how Baek Eun-ho once treated her, she turned toward the director. Let's go, director. Behind her, Baek Eun-ho shouted, Please, check my profile page when you get home. She didn't understand what he meant, nor did she care to. The whole situation was already too confusing. In the car, the director said calmly, I just happened to pass by and saw you looked uncomfortable, so I stopped to offer you a ride. Zeon felt a bit uneasy. I accepted without thinking. If Hyun finds out, she's going to be upset. Remembering the message from earlier she hadn't replied to, she lowered her voice. Thank you, director. I keep troubling you. I'm sorry. In the restroom of the reunion, the air turned icy. Sumin stood frozen, her face pale and stiff. So it's true, huh? One of her classmates sneered that you're just a contract worker at UK. Seowon told us she was the one who recommended you, even showed us her business card. Then why don't you show us yours? Another chimed in. If you're a full-time employee, you should have one too, right? I never said I was full-time, Sumin stammered, voice trembling. You must have misunderstood. But her panic gave her away. Maybe I got mixed up with another company. I didn't mean to say it like that. Mixed up? A classmate scoffed. You lied for 3 years. Every time we met I asked you about your job, and you looked me straight in the eye. Looks like Seon was right all along. She said you accused her, that she stopped you from confessing to Baek Eun-ho because she liked him. But she told us that never happened. Why are we even talking about that? Sumin said, her voice rising. It was years ago. I barely even remember. Don't give us that, someone snapped. You conned us for 3 years. And now you don't remember? You just wanted pity, didn't you? Seon never got a chance to defend herself, so you kept spinning lies. Sumin's voice broke. I did hide the truth about work. But only because you all hated Zeon so much that I didn't want you to insult her again. Insult her. She's been mocked for years because of you. Another shouted. All because of your lies. You're insane. Don't ever talk to us again. The door slammed shut. Sumin's knees gave out. She collapsed onto the cold tile floor, tears spilling silently down her face, the sound of her own downfall echoing in the empty room. Yet even now there wasn't a trace of remorse in her heart. To Sumin, the one meant to be mocked and looked down on, had always been, and should always be, Kang-seon. Only then could she appear to be the kind, pitiful one, the girl everyone liked. But Zeon had ruined all of that. Leaning on the sink, Sumin muttered to herself, what should I say when I go out? Right. I'll just say I misspoke. That if I cry a little they'll probably forgive me. But when she finally stepped out of the restroom, the hallway was already empty. Everyone was gone. Meanwhile, Zeon's phone lit up with a call from Sumin, but she was already fast asleep. In her dream she was back in that old classroom. Her chair once again had become the class trash bin. Sitting beside her, Baek Eun-ho looked helpless. Back then, being hated by everyone had become her daily reality. Just as her spirit was about to break, Baek Eun-ho turned to her and said, that seat's too far. You can't see the board from there. Starting tomorrow, sit next to me. From that day on, the trash and paper balls stopped flying toward her. And her heart began to beat wildly for the first time. Maybe it was because of Sumin's encouragement, or maybe her heart had simply gone foolish from infatuation. Either way, she did the unthinkable. She confessed to Baek Eun-ho. She forgot that she was the kind of girl no one loved, except for Sumin. And that very friend, the only one she ever trusted, was the one who stabbed her in the back. Tears slipped down Zeon's cheeks as she dreamed. When she suddenly opened her eyes, she realized she'd fallen asleep, in the director's car with his jacket draped gently over her. The moment he took off his glasses and looked her way, her face flushed bright red. You've been asleep for 3 hours, the director said calmly. Zeon quickly sat up, embarrassed. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. But he stopped her. If I was being nosy earlier, I apologize. I just thought, he added quietly, you didn't really want to see that man. How sharp is he? She thought, startled. How did he even notice I was avoiding Park Min-hwan? We're just keeping some distance for work reasons, she explained awkwardly. Yet somehow as she spoke the space between them grew smaller. Miss Kang Zeon, he asked suddenly, his tone unreadable. Do you love Park Min-hwan? Yes, she answered instinctively, her voice firm. I love him. After all, we're in a relationship. Then lowering her eyes she added, but that kind of personal question makes me a little uncomfortable. Her cheeks burned even more. Was that too cold, she thought, but he's the one who leaned in first. Still, she owed him thanks. She glanced up, he seemed genuinely upset. Maybe I should say something nice? With a shy smile she murmured, Director, you actually look really good without your glasses. The director paused for a second after hearing her words. This outfit doesn't really suit you, Miss Kang, he said softly. Anyway, see you at the office tomorrow. Zeon blinked. That was not the reaction she expected. Well, that's just how he is, she thought, puzzled. Still, is this outfit really that bad? Meanwhile, the director's face reddened slightly. She smiled at me like that. So bright. But why was she crying earlier? Was it because of that bastard again? The image of Park Min-hwan and Sumin together flashed through his mind. Because he's your lover, you love a man like that, he thought bitterly. Back home, Zeon recalled what Baek Eun-ho had said. Check your personal page. But I don't even have any friends on there, she murmured, only to freeze when she saw dozens of old messages from him appearing on her board. Just as confusion filled her, her phone rang. It was Han Ji. I didn't finish what I wanted to say, Ji said over the line. I used the number on your card. About what we said in the restroom. I'm sorry, Zeon. We were cruel. We only listened to Sumin and judged you without knowing the truth. We all joined in mocking you, never checking the facts. Now calling to apologize. It feels shameless. Zeon's throat tightened. Tears welled up. To be honest, even if I accept your apology, I don't think I have the courage to face you all again. But since you had the courage to call me, I'll try to find mine too. Thank you. There was a soft sniffle on the other end. Then, let's stay in touch, okay? Call us anytime. Please. Don't disappear again. Oh, right, speaking of staying in touch, Eun-ho said he wanted to reach out to you too. The next morning, Seon came in with a teasing grin. Well, what's going on with you two? Agent Kong, who picked out that shirt? It looks amazing on you. And your hair. So pretty. And you, director. You look way better without your glasses. Honestly, you two look like the leads of a K-drama. Zeon and the director exchanged awkward glances and both took off their glasses. It felt strange, but somehow not unpleasant. When Park Min-hwan saw her, his entire face turned red. That dazzling woman was actually Kang Zeon? He hurried over, flustered. What happened? You look completely different. It suits you so well. Though maybe tone it down at work, okay? I don't want other guys staring at you, especially him. His eyes darted toward the director, bitterness in his tone. So that's why you used to wear those dorky glasses and plain ties. Just so you could show off now and lure him in? Anyway, he added, forcing a smile, it's been a while since we went on a date. How about tonight? Zeon smiled faintly. Sorry, I already have plans. Later that evening, she arrived at a cafe. Baek Eun-ho was already waiting by the window. I read everything you posted on my page, she said quietly. But why after all these years? Eun-ho's face flushed. Because I liked you. I liked you for all 3 years of high school. But I ruined everything because of my own misunderstanding. I know I hurt you back then. I just wanted to tell you how I really felt. I know you have a boyfriend now. So please don't take this as pressure. I just want us to be friends again. We can grab coffee sometimes, talk a little, eat together. That's okay between friends, right? Zeon and Eun-ho talked for a long time. From him she finally learned that the love letter she'd written back then had been switched by Sumin for a completely different one. She also learned that Eun-ho had liked her too. But until the very end she never told him, actually, I liked you too. Walking home, those words kept echoing in her heart. If not for Sumin, if I had married the man who still likes me even now, would my life have been happier? Would you hold me in your arms? Cry for me when I'm gone if I had died all alone? Lost in thought, Zeon was startled when someone suddenly stepped in front of her. The director. It's so late. Why is he here? She thought nervously. Park Min-hwan showed up again, he said. Maybe because I didn't answer his call he came looking for me. Zeon froze, then quickly walked past him. Min-hwan is my boyfriend. This has nothing to do with you, director. Please don't come to my place for this again. Miss Kong, the director raised his voice slightly. Would you call someone you're afraid of your boyfriend? You don't love him anymore. Your face tells me that every day that you're strong, decisive. Why keep pretending to endure this? Her face flushed. What are you trying to say? Stop crying alone, he suddenly shouted that I can't stand watching you cry anymore. Xion panicked. Director, does Xion know you're doing this? I know you two are dating. Don't you feel guilty toward her? Even if I'm just guessing, isn't that the truth? Please stop interfering in my private life, or I'll tell Xion everything. We're not what you think, the director said firmly. Lucian is my sister. It's a sensitive issue, so I've kept it private at the company. You should already know, the director said calmly. I've never treated her differently just because she's my sister. All I want you to understand is that there's nothing inappropriate between us. Xion froze, her mind flashing with memories of the two together. Their casual warmth, their easy smiles. So, he doesn't have a girlfriend after all, she murmured to herself. I may have feelings for someone, but I don't really have anyone. The director then called Xion. Xion found out we're siblings, he said. Xion's voice instantly jumped an octave. What? You said no one would ever find out. Don't tell me you went to her place again. How many times have I told you, approach her slowly. Don't make her feel pressured. Ugh, you useless single dog. You're single from birth too, he shot back. Anyway, aren't you leaving for that business trip next week? Right, she replied, sighing. That's even better. I'll think of something. Just don't do anything reckless while I'm gone, okay? I'm only helping you because that guy, Park Min-hwan, is trash. I can't just watch our benefactor date someone like him. Everyone knows about Park Min-hwan and Sumin's little secret, don't they? That sly fox. Xion might forgive her because they're childhood friends, but I sure won't. Later that night, Xion collapsed onto her bed, her mind echoing with the director's words. Stop crying alone. Tears welled up again. Why did I choose to die alone back then when there were people who actually cared about me? And in that moment she finally understood. This time she would never live the same tragic life again. Early the next morning, Xion worried Min-hwan hadn't eaten, so she bought him an egg sandwich while getting breakfast. Min-hwan approached and said she came home late last night. If she's late again, call him and he'll pick her up. Xion gave a flimsy excuse. He repeated, if you're late, contact me, I'll come get you. Sumin said from the side, Agent Kong, you're dressed so pretty lately. Are you seeing someone today? She added, Min-hwan was alone yesterday and walked back with me. Who are you dressed up for? Xion smiled. Just a friend I saw at the reunion. Min-hwan said I look better without glasses, so I wore contacts. Sumin praised her. It suits you so well. Tonight you must have dinner with me. Sumin looked upset. Exactly what Xion wanted. Because things didn't go Sumin's way, she wanted Min-hwan more. Sumin thought, that grab and hold attitude, I'll use it. Everything about you is under my control. Hyun arrived late due to traffic. Xion glanced at her. Xion glanced secretly at the director and noticed he somewhat resembled Hyun. Unexpectedly, the director turned his head toward Xion. Xion was startled and quickly looked away. Agent Yang's proposal was chosen. The new product is scheduled for a summer release. It was good news, but Yang worried she wouldn't have time to look after Hyun. While she fretted, Xion sent a note and asked to meet privately. Xion pulled Yang aside and proposed putting Sumin on Yang's project team. She explained that Chief Kim would likely interfere. With time already short, they couldn't afford disruptions. Yang was puzzled, and Xion bluntly said Chief Kim had an interest in Sumin. Yang muttered, has his conscience fallen out with his hair? She understood Xion's point. Xion added, if Sumin is placed in my group, Chief Kim can't meddle so easily. Yang agreed. If they wanted the project to succeed, they did need Sumin. At the meeting, Yang, as project lead, spoke first to outline the plan. She explained the project is a joint effort between marketing and development, and they must push to meet the summer launch. Marketing Team 1 would be coordinated by Agent Yang. Development Team 2, Lee Jun-hee, would oversee sample production. With time tight, development worked hard. The samples exceeded expectations and were ready for testing. Xion quietly warned herself. If Sumin smeared Yang's reputation, she would not let it go. Agent Yang assigned Sumin to conduct customer surveys at the supermarket. You're outgoing and make a good impression. She said that's why I chose you for this task. Then she added, but if you're not willing, I can let Hyun take it instead. Hearing that, Sumin refused immediately. There was no way she'd give that promotion chance to Zeon. Yet once she started, she regretted it. Yang Julin really sent me here to lure customers. Does she think I'll actually do this? Annoyed, she kept playing on her phone, brushing off customer questions about the product's ingredients. Just as she thought everything was fine, an old man beside her suddenly twitched and dropped the product. I'm allergic to peanuts. The commotion irritated Sumin, but a woman yelled, didn't you say this had no nuts? How are you going to take responsibility? You almost killed someone. Sumin snapped back, what do you expect me to do? You saw it was free and handed it out yourself. That's on you, ma'am. If you're unwell, go to a hospital. Don't make a scene here. As the woman called for staff, Manhwa rushed over. Miss Young Sumin, what's going on here? You're the manager. The woman shouted, she said there were no peanuts and now look what happened. Then she blamed me. Embarrassed, Manhwa bowed repeatedly. I'm so sorry. I'll take the customer to the hospital right away. He turned to Sumin. Take a taxi and follow us. Sumin clenched her teeth, furious. This is all Yang Julin's fault. She gave me this job just to set me up. Manhwa shouted, the sample contains allergens. Something this serious and Zeon didn't tell you? Sumin murmured, maybe she mentioned it. I don't really remember. I'm sorry, Deputy Park. He frowned. Worst case, you might get dismissed and have to pay damages. Right now, only the two of us know that if the customer or supermarket files a complaint, it's over. So come with me and apologize until they calm down. Suddenly, Sumin threw her arms around him. Thank you, Appa. Looking at him, she thought, Chief Kim can't even compare. I want this man. Her plan had worked perfectly through this accident. Meanwhile, Zeon, wondering if Sumin had done her job properly, received a call from Manhwa, only to hear him venting with sarcasm. What a tearful love story. Zeon quickly calmed him down, trying to stabilize the situation. She muttered, Young Sumin, you really didn't disappoint me. Back home, Agent Yang saw Hyun and her grandmother sharing a warm moment. Our princess is home, Grandma smiled. Your father-in-law and I made soup. Yang smiled softly. She couldn't remember the last time she'd felt this at ease, even just taking a bath. Zeon was right, she thought. Bringing my family here was the best choice. I can't give up this project. Once I'm promoted, I'll never have to fear Chief Kim again. When Yang stepped out of the shower, her husband snapped, you told people I quit my job and even brought your family here. She replied calmly, I told you beforehand they were coming. If you don't like it, you can leave this house. This place is under my name. I pay the loan, I cover the expenses. Lee Jae-hyun, either earn money or stay home and take care of Yeonji. If you don't want to be kicked out, at least do one thing right. Zeon, hearing about Yang's situation, felt genuinely happy for her. But right after hanging up, the director appeared. Director, weren't you supposed to be on a business trip today? I wanted to talk to you before I left, he said calmly. Zeon had a bad feeling. She wanted to decline but couldn't find an excuse. They went to a newly opened cafe. Just as the director ordered, a familiar voice chimed in. Oh, someone I know. The sandwiches are on the house. Baek Eun-ho smiled. Hey Yoon, we meet again. Yeon froze, speechless. What are the odds? The director instantly sensed danger, while Baek Eun-ho also felt the tension. Their eyes locked, sparks flying as Zeon stood awkwardly between them. Baek greeted politely, you must be Zeon's supervisor. The one who picked her up after the reunion. The director shot back coolly, and you must be the one yelling about checking personal space. Zeon wanted to disappear on the spot. The two exchanged veiled blows, ending with Baek's smooth smile. My cafe just opened here. Guess we'll be seeing each other often. Zeon forced a smile, regretting every choice that led her here. Out of all the cafes, she had to walk right into this one. After sitting down, the director asked casually, weren't you and Baek Eun-ho classmates? He didn't tell you he was opening a cafe here. Hyun awkwardly shook her head. No idea why he suddenly showed up. The director muttered, I think I understand now, which only made Zeon more uneasy. She knew exactly why. Baek Eun-ho had always had a crush on her. Quickly, she changed the subject. Didn't you say you had something to tell me? The director straightened up, remembering his main point. He explained that during his business trip, Chief Kim would be the acting manager, but he'd already arranged for Agent Yang's project to bypass Kim and be submitted directly to headquarters. Zeon was surprised. She'd thought the director was detached, yet he was more considerate than she imagined. You know about Agent Yang and Chief Kim's conflict, she asked. The director sighed. Of course I do. But that's between them. As their superior, I can only step in so far. Unless it's something like last time when Chief Kim failed to review the proposal. Something like that comes to light again, he added, then it's a different story. Ziyuan's eyes lit up. In other words, if she could get solid proof, she could finally hold Chief Kim accountable. Ziyuan sincerely thanked the director for his concern and wished him a smooth trip. If I can get advice like that, this coffee was worth it. The next morning, as soon as she arrived at work, she sensed something was off. Chief Kim was acting unusually friendly toward Hyun. And of course, it was on the day the director was away. That he's definitely plotting something again, Ziyuan thought. A moment later, Hyun came out of the meeting room frowning. Ugh, I already feel sick. Chief Kim ruined my morning. The two went to the break room for coffee and Hyun told her everything. Early that morning, Kim had called her into the meeting room, wearing a fake smile. Didn't you submit a proposal when you first joined the company? He asked. Hyun nodded. It was a proposal about religious-themed food, but back then Chief Kim had rejected it outright, and insulted her in the process. With a fake tone of mentorship, Kim told her, the company can't possibly use a proposal from a brand new contract worker. That project's too big. Upper management would have shot it down anyway, so I rejected it in advance. Then he softened his tone and said, but I'm willing to give you another chance. I can submit that proposal under my name, and just add yours to the project team. In other words, I'll lend you my name. Hyun was stunned. What he really meant was stealing her idea. She flatly refused. Kim's expression turned cold. If you want to go full-time, you'll do as I say. Otherwise, your career here ends within a year. Remembering it, Hyun was furious. If they fire me, fine. I won't let Chief Kim profit from my idea. Ziyuan nodded in agreement. He deleted your proposal on purpose, and now he wants to steal it. That proves your plan is valuable. Hyun beamed. There are over 1.3 billion followers of that religion, and no ready-to-eat product tailored for them. If we seize the opportunity now, the outlook will be huge. Hearing that, Ziyuan suddenly recalled a crucial memory from her previous life. She told Hyun to hand the proposal to Chief Kim for now. The plan wouldn't actually be implemented immediately. Surprised, Hyun asked why Ziyuan was so sure. Ziyuan said the project carried risks, but Hyun's idea would shine, just not yet. Ziyuan advised her to follow Kim's instructions for the time being and promised she would get the idea back for her no matter what. Ziyuan felt hopeful about what came next. This might be the chance to take Chief Kim down. The show was about to begin. Chief Kim brought Hyun's proposal to the executive director. After reading it, the director's eyes lit up. Excellent idea, he praised, clearly impressed. However, once approved, the project would require someone to be sent abroad. Kim, basking in the praise, assured him he already had the perfect candidate. That candidate was Hyun. Annoying newbie, he thought. Let her rot overseas. The director agreed and told him to start immediately and report progress regularly. Pretending to hesitate, Kim mentioned another major project that might interfere. The director waved it off. Then pause all the others and focus on this one. Kim could barely hide his glee. Leaving the office, he made up his mind. He'd use the director's absence to reclaim his lost power. Once he succeeded, Sumin would rely on him completely, and their perfect relationship would naturally follow. Meanwhile, Ziyuan carried a prepared document to deliver to Kim, the very paper that would become his death warrant. Agent Yang's project was temporarily halted by Kim's interference, but Ziyuan wasn't worried. Within half a month, it would be back on track. Ziyuan met Chief Kim on the rooftop. With a pleasant smile, she handed him a neatly prepared report. I put this together myself. It might help with your ongoing project, she said. Kim took it and read carefully. Ziyuan explained that according to foreign media, this industry was about to boom globally. Other companies will be jumping in soon. Getting ahead of the curve is key right now. Since the project's been approved, she continued, we should release the news early. It'll not only promote the product but also position UK as a pioneer in the religious food sector. She had even written a draft of the press release herself. Kim's face lit up. This could finally free him from his reputation as a forever middle manager. He praised Ziyuan enthusiastically and even invited her to join his project team. Ziyuan politely declined. She knew he'd only be gloating for another week. Back at his desk, Kim contacted several media outlets and published the news. The response was overwhelmingly positive. The executive director was delighted. Together, he and Kim were already dreaming of their promotions. For the past few days, Chief Kim had been walking around the office like a man on top of the world. Sumin even started texting him first, whining that she'd skipped breakfast to rush to work. His heart nearly melted. "What do you want to eat?" "I'll go get it," he said dotingly. "Strawberry milk," she replied with a sweet smile. Kim chuckled, calling her his cute little kitten. Just then, Secretary Han called. "The executive director wants to see you." Kim quickly replied, "Right away." With both his career and his romance going well, he even hummed a tune. Once promoted, he planned to confess to Sumin properly. But as soon as he entered the director's office, a binder flew straight at his face. The executive director slammed his hand on the desk, shouting, "Look at this article. How are you going to take responsibility? You said we were the first, yet another company has already launched the same product." The comments section was exploding. People were mocking them. "Some pioneers you're." Meanwhile, the company's stock price was plummeting. Chief Kim stared at the report in disbelief, murmuring, "How could this happen?" He quickly apologized and suggested halting the project, but the director cut him off furiously. "It's already all over the media. How do you expect me to clean this up now? Do you realize how much money we've spent on this?" The director barked. Terrified, Kim's body trembled. Then a desperate thought flashed through his mind. He'd use Hyun as the scapegoat. After all, the proposal had been hers to begin with. Trying to please the executive, Chief Kim explained obsequiously, "This proposal came from a new employee in my department. She begged me to submit it, so I reluctantly did." He suggested cautiously, "Why don't we just push the blame on her? We can issue a public apology saying a 25-year-old rookie acted impulsively. That should calm the outrage." The executive's gut tightened. "A 25-year-old employee in Marketing Division 1. He frowned and asked, "What's this employee's name?" "Oh, her. She's Loo Hyun." Kim replied eagerly. "You know how those so-and-so girl labels trend online? We can call her the plagiarist girl. With just one scapegoat we can save the company's image," he added, convinced he'd just saved the day. But the executive's face darkened. "Did you tell her it was my instruction to proceed with the project?" Kim grinned sycophantically. "Of course. I wanted her to know I'm one of your people, sir." The executive exploded, hurling a file straight at Chief Kim. "You go tell her right now. This was your doing. It has nothing to do with me." Kim walked out of the office, shoulders slumped, all traces of arrogance gone. As he stepped into the elevator, his hand brushed against a carton of strawberry milk in his pocket. It was his only comfort. At least sweet Sumin was still on his side, he thought. Together they'd overcome this mess. But when he returned to the office, Sumin's tone was cold. "I can't drink strawberry milk," she said flatly. Kim froze. "Didn't you say this morning you wanted it?" She rolled her eyes, turned her back and walked away without another word. Left alone, Chief Kim stood there hollow and humiliated. His promotion gone, his sweet girl indifferent. He clenched his fists, mind twisting with blame. It's all Jiwon's fault. She and Hyun were close. She must have known Hyun had connections. If not for Jiwon insisting they publish the news early, things would never have spiraled out of control. Chief Kim stormed up to Jiwon shouting, "Agent Kong, where's the report I told you to hand in today?" "I said it was important," Jiwon calmly replied. "I already put it on your desk." "Then why didn't you tell me?" he snapped. "I did," she explained. "I sent you a message about it." Kim's anger flared hotter. "Oh, you've got an answer for everything, huh? You must be loving seeing me in trouble." Han stared at him, baffled by his irrational rage. He roared, "Don't glare at me like that. Guess your parents never taught you any manners." That crossed the line. Jiwon could tolerate many things, but not insults toward her parents. Kim didn't stop there. He went on to curse her family and even raised his hand as if to hit her. At that exact moment, the department head burst in, grabbing Kim by the arm. His face was cold and furious. "Chief Kim," he growled, "apologize to Ms. Kong, right now." Kim froze, his bravado evaporating. "When did you get back?" "Enough," the manager barked. "Apologize." All arrogance gone, Kim mumbled a meek, trembling apology. The manager released his grip in disgust. Kim collapsed onto the floor, humiliated and silent, not daring to lift his head. The manager spoke coldly. "You'll soon receive a notice from the disciplinary committee. Be prepared. This time a pay cut won't save you." Chief Kim collapsed onto the floor, his world shattering. The strawberry milk he'd bought for Sumin was crushed beneath him, leaking pink across the tiles. A few days later, the disciplinary notice arrived. It listed continuous verbal abuse toward Agent Yang, threats against Hyun, and theft of her proposal, all combined into one severe penalty. Trembling with rage, Kim spat. Ruining me wasn't enough. You even had Yang secretly record me. You little brats destroyed everything I built. He clenched his fists, grief twisting with fury that he'd been so close. A promotion, a marriage with Sumin, all gone. And just then a familiar voice reached him from down the hall. Sumin's. At that moment, Sumin was chatting freely with Manhwa, mocking Chief Kim. I swear, there's nothing between us. Those rumors are ridiculous. Manhwa smiled softly. Of course I know that you're way too cute to ever go for a bald old guy like him. Feigning concern, Sumin asked, what's going to happen to him now? Manhwa handed her a drink. I heard he's getting a severe punishment. Honestly, that's for the best. Everyone hated that useless, greasy man anyway. He added, just don't try to please him anymore. The rumors will fade. And don't bother switching departments. That fool's already done for. Officially it's just a demotion and suspension, but really it means they want him gone. From a distance, Chief Kim saw them laughing together, and the strawberry milk in Sumin's hand, his last bit of sanity, snapped. He charged forward and punched Manhwa square in the face. You bastard. You've got a girlfriend and still try to steal my woman. Sumin and I are getting married. What are you talking about? Sumin shouted, furious and humiliated. Kim's voice cracked as he turned to her. Desperate. Sumin, tell him how much we love each other. But she glared at him in disgust. Stop lying, she snapped. The office buzzed with whispers. Oh, the rumors were true. After Chief Kim lost his power, Sumin dumped him. Yeah, looks like it wasn't just gossip. Panicked and confused, Chief Kim pleaded, Sumin, what's wrong? Is it because of Manhwa? But Sumin, burning with shame, snapped, you're not normal anymore. Stop this. Covering her face, she bolted out of the room, desperate to get away from him. Alone in a quiet corner, she seethed, that old man isn't even a chief anymore. I actually let myself get tied up with such a loser. What am I going to do now? Without Chief Kim, her chances of getting a permanent position were slim. Then a thought struck her. Wait, if not the chief, there's still the manager. The next morning at the staff meeting, the manager announced, due to recent events, Chief Kim has been suspended and demoted. He then called out Manhwa, how's your face? Manhwa forced a grin. All good now, sir. Inside though, he cursed silently. Why did he have to bring that up in front of everyone? The manager continued, the religious food project is fully terminated. The proposal will be returned to its original creator, Ms. Yu Hyun. Restarting it will take time. Agent Yang's delayed project will now resume as planned. Finally, he concluded, since Chief Kim is suspended, headquarters has assigned a temporary replacement. A confident man entered the room, bowing slightly. Hello everyone, I'm Lee Junhee. Starting today, I'll be the acting head of Marketing Division 1. Please take care of me. Jiwon felt something off. She had predicted the personnel change would target Sumin. After all, being tied to Chief Kim's scandal, a transfer made the most sense. Yet Sumin hadn't been moved at all. Instead, she was smiling brightly, almost smugly. The manager wrapped up the morning meeting. This Friday we'll have a team dinner. Hyun will pick the restaurant and let everyone know. As everyone stood, Sumin flipped her hair and flashed her cutest smile. Thank you for your hard work, manager. She was confident. Men always fell for her charm. The manager, she thought, would be no exception. She didn't notice the look of mild exasperation on his face. During lunch break in a quiet cafe, Hyun leaned in curiously. You knew, didn't you, that the project I gave the chief would backfire? Jiwon gave a vague smile. You could say it was a hunch. Of course, she couldn't admit the truth. That in her previous life, the same company had launched a religious vegetarian product that year, tanking UK's stock and sending Manhwa into a rage. That memory saved me this time, she thought. Guess I should thank Manhwa's tantrum for something. Out loud, she explained calmly, religious food trends are booming lately. Since that company's already expanding worldwide, there's no way UK could have been the pioneer. Hyun's eyes sparkled at you're incredible. Jiwon chuckled awkwardly, taking a sip to hide her embarrassment. Just then, Baek Eun-ho arrived with 2 desserts. A little surprise for my lovely guest, he said cheerfully. New colleague today. Jiwon quickly introduced them. This is Hyun, our planning associate. Eun-ho smiled politely, but Hyun's expression froze. She instantly recognized him. So this is my brother's business rival. Baek Eun-ho warmly offered the dessert to Hyun. I made this myself. Please, give it a try. Hyun hesitated. I'm not really into sweets. He smiled reassuringly. Don't worry. It's not sugary. I barely added any. The sweetness comes naturally from the raisins. Intrigued, she accepted the dessert, took a small sniff and then a cautious bite. Instantly, her eyes widened. The flavor was gentle yet rich, perfectly balanced. So this is what true sweetness tastes like, she thought in surprise. Her impression of him brightened at once. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Eun-ho smiled softly. If you ever crave it, just drop by any time. Then his gaze lingered on Ji-won, his tone gentle. I'll always keep one ready, just for you. Meanwhile, Sumin spotted the manager heading alone to the pantry and quickly followed after him. Manager, are you getting coffee? I was just about to make some too. Should I prepare a cup for you? He politely declined. No thanks, I'll just have some juice. Before he could move, she eagerly grabbed the bottle. Really? What a coincidence. I prefer juice too. She poured it for him, all smiles. But as she handed it over, she accidentally let it spill across the counter. Crouching down in a flustered act, she gasped, "Oh no, I'm so sorry, are you okay?" The manager calmly wiped his hand, voice even. I'm fine. Sumin deliberately brushed her hand against the shards of glass, slicing her finger just as planned. Tears welled in her eyes as she whimpered, "Manager, my hand is bleeding." The manager asked flatly, "How bad is it?" Sumin took it up a notch, her voice trembling pitifully. "It hurts so much. The glass cut me." But the manager simply turned away. "There's a band-aid in the cabinet. Clean the floor before it gets sticky." Sumin froze. He just walked away. Didn't even look at my hand. What kind of man is that? Her face twisted in disbelief. Just then Manhwa walked in. "Are you hurt? I heard something break." Sumin's eyes filled with perfect practice tears as she held out her finger. "Look, it's bleeding," she said weakly. Manhwa quickly offered, "Let's get it bandaged." Now this, she thought smugly, is how a real man reacts. "No need," she cooed, "just blow on it for me, it really stings." Minhwan's heart skipped a beat. This girl really knows how to flirt, he chuckled softly. "All right, I'll try." He leaned down and gently blew on her fingertip. After a moment she smiled sweetly. "They're much better, thanks to you." Minhwan gazed at her small, delicate hand, unconsciously comparing it. So soft, so dainty, nothing like Ji-won's rough hands. Neither of them noticed the manager standing silently by the door, watching everything. The manager stood outside, his expression darkening as he listened to the voices inside. "Sumin, your hands are so small and pretty." Manager, don't tease me like that, you're making me shy." His fists clenched, veins bulging, rage burned through him. These two, utterly disgusting. He couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't bear the thought of Ji-won being kept in the dark, dating a man like that. But telling her the truth might break her even more. Just then Ji-won and Hyun walked into the pantry, laughing together. The manager quickly stepped forward, forcing a casual tone. "You two came from Baek Eun-ho's cafe, right?" Hyun froze. Her brother had warned her to stay away from Baek and even bribed her to help him out. But those desserts were too good. Inwardly, she whispered a guilty apology to her brother. "Ah, right, I just remembered something," she said awkwardly. "I'll get going first." Ji-won started toward the sink, but the manager immediately blocked her path. "Wait. Let me wash that for you." Ji-won shook her head quickly. "No need, I can do it myself." Desperate, the manager blurted out, cheeks slightly red, "Would you have dinner with me tonight? I need to tell you something important." Ji-won blinked in surprise. "Is it work-related?" He nodded. "It's about Chief Kim. Something I need to explain in person." She nodded, relieved. "Oh, I see. Then sure." As she turned toward the pantry again, he quickly added, "That sink's not working. Use the one across the hall." Ji-won smiled softly. "Thank you, manager." Watching her walk away, he finally exhaled, tension easing from his shoulders. At least this time she wouldn't have to witness that shameful scene. That evening, Ji-won arrived for the dinner, staring at the five-star restaurant in disbelief. "Manager, was it really necessary to discuss Chief Kim here of all places?" The manager raised his glass, pretending to sound casual. "You've been through a lot because of this incident. I thought we should celebrate a little." Ji-won nodded uncertainly, though something about it felt off. Meanwhile, he wrestled with his thoughts. Should he tell her about Manhwa? He hesitated, then asked softly, "Ms. Kong, do you plan to keep seeing Park Manhwa?" It might sound personal, but this question means a lot to me. Jiwon frowned. Manager, that's my private life. I don't see any reason I should answer that. Her tone was calm but firm. Manhwa and I are doing fine. Please don't bring it up again. The manager fell silent, forced to respect her decision. Understood, he said quietly, picking up his fork again. But inside he couldn't help wondering. Why him? From her expression, it was obvious she didn't truly love Manhwa. She's lying. But why? What is she hiding? After dinner, as they headed out, Jiwon winced. Her heels were rubbing painfully against her ankle. While stepping down the stairs, she lost her balance and fell. The manager rushed forward, alarmed. Are you okay? Did you hurt yourself? Jiwon sighed, taking off the shoes. I just had these fixed and now they're broken again. Seriously, what bad luck. The manager gently helped Jiwon to her feet, but pain shot through her ankle. She staggered, clearly having twisted it. Excuse me, he murmured before suddenly scooping her up in his arms. His tone was calm but firm. If you force yourself to walk, it'll only get worse. Jiwon's cheeks flushed bright red. She froze, not knowing what to do. He carried her to the hotel lounge and softly said, wait here for a moment. Jiwon clutched her chest, feeling her heart pound wildly as she sat there in a daze. A few minutes later, the manager returned, slightly out of breath, holding a first aid kit he'd borrowed from the front desk. Kneeling before her, he carefully applied ointment to her ankle. You should throw those shoes away, he said gently. Even if you fix them, they'll just hurt you again. Jiwon protested softly, but I don't have many pairs. I can't just throw them out. He paused, looking up with meaning in his eyes. Sometimes instead of repairing what's broken, it's better to replace it. Once something snaps, it tends to break again. Jiwon caught the hidden meaning behind his words. And it wasn't about shoes. Before she could reply, the manager opened a box and revealed a new pair of heels. I just picked a size that looked about right, he said, then gently slipped them onto her feet with careful, steady hands. When he looked up, his voice softened into a whisper. Miss Kongji, you deserve to wear something better. Jiwon's heart was pounding uncontrollably. Everything the manager said, the way he looked at her. It was too much, she whispered, flustered. Manager, you shouldn't be like this. She didn't notice her phone buzzing quietly beside her. Manhwa sat in his office, jaw tight with anger. Jiwon hadn't answered his calls all evening. He had overheard the manager asking her to dinner that afternoon. He'd wanted to stop her but got caught up with work. And by the time he finished, she was already gone. His chest burned with jealousy. That bastard dares to hit on my girlfriend. Even that K-founder seemed to have feelings for her. In the elevator, people had been talking about Jiwon. Some even said she was the most beautiful and capable woman in marketing division 1. The thought made his blood boil. At this rate, someone would steal her away. He felt like a fool dressing another man's bride. He called again, and this time she finally picked up. What are you doing? He demanded sharply. Why didn't you answer your phone? Jiwon replied evenly, I just finished dinner with the manager. I'm on my way home. Dinner? What did you talk about? He pressed. Just something about Chief Kim, she said casually. Hearing that, Manhwa finally calmed down. All right, get some rest. Don't forget our date tomorrow night. After hanging up, Manhwa leaned back in his chair, a bitter smile curling on his lips. How ironic. Park Manhwa worrying about her. Back then, it had started as nothing but a joke. He'd only agreed to date Jiwon for a free bottle of wine. One night, over drinks, he'd laughed to his friends about the plain, boring new girl in their department. One of them teased. Then go seduce her. If you can pull it off, the wine's yours. Confident as ever, Manhwa smirked. 3 days. I'll have her wrapped around my finger in 3 days. He'd approached Jiwon the next day, asked for her number and started sending her a few flirtatious messages, expecting she'd fall for it instantly. But she never replied. Not once. And somehow that indifference only made him more determined to win. So he called her directly, his tone casual and teasing. Hey, you free this Saturday? Let's hang out. Jiwon finally took the bait. And just like that, their so-called relationship began. Manhwa's plan was simple. Get the free bottle of wine, then dump her. But things took an unexpected turn. Jiwon was too kind. No, more than kind, she was naive. She'd stay late to finish his unfinished reports, do his extra shifts without complaint. A few sweet words from him and she'd melt, willing to give more. Manhwa was more than satisfied. Women like her were so much easier to handle than those smart, demanding ones. He wasn't sure when Jiwon started changing, becoming sharper, more composed, but he didn't care. Whatever she turned into, she was still under his thumb. His stocks were skyrocketing lately. One more rise and he'd cash out big. And when that happened, he thought smugly Jiwon would never escape his grasp. The next evening, Manhwa arrived on a luxury cruise, holding a bouquet of flowers. Under the glittering lights, he knelt on one knee before Jiwon. "Will you marry me?" he said earnestly. "I'll make you happy for the rest of your life. I love you." Jiwon smiled softly and said yes. Overwhelmed with joy, Manhwa hugged her tightly. "Don't worry about the apartment," he said. "I've made a lot of money this time. Buying a house won't be a problem." But Jiwon only curved her lips faintly, her gaze distant. Behind him, the cruise's large screen suddenly lit up. Breaking news. MW Tech, the company Manhwa had invested in, had just announced bankruptcy. Its CEO had fled abroad. The next day at work, Jiwon wore a radiant smile, sharing the news of her engagement with her colleagues. She added cheerfully, "Tomorrow night, I'll be meeting his parents." Recently, Manhwa had been bragging about his stock profits, buying her designer bags and clothes, assuring her the house was already taken care of. Jiwon replied sweetly, "Looks like we'll be setting a wedding date soon." When Jiwon announced the news, both Agent Yang and Hyun looked more shocked than happy. Hyun even tried to be gentle. "Maybe, you shouldn't rush into marriage, Jiwon." Sumin stared in disbelief. "You're really marrying Park Manhwa?" Jiwon nodded sweetly. "Of course, it's not easy to find someone like him. Gentle, stable, and financially smart. He even told me to quit my job after the wedding and just rest at home." She smiled and showed off her ring. "But keep this between us, okay? It's still a secret." That ring stabbed straight into Sumin's pride. Her competitive fire flared. That ring should have been hers. Still, she forced a polite smile. "Congratulations, Jiwon." Won smirked inwardly. Perfect. The happier she looked, the more jealous Sumin became. "You want him so badly? Then go on, take him." Even after lunch, Sumin couldn't focus. Why her? What does that woman have that I don't? Her eyes burned as she watched Jiwon's back fade into the hallway. Why does she get to be happy? In that instant, Sumin made up her mind. She would ruin everything and steal Jiwon's happiness for herself. Back at her desk, Jiwon checked her portfolio. Her stocks had surged, a total profit of 600,000 won. She had it all planned. Once she broke up with Manhwa, she'd quit, move out, and start fresh with that money. Meanwhile, Manhwa wasn't so lucky. His investments had crashed. Everything he owned was gone. Manhwa slammed his fist onto the table, crumpling the newspaper in rage. The house was gone. Their wedding dream shattered. If Jiwon found out, she'd call off the engagement for sure. No, he muttered, jaw tight. She can't know. Ever. He planned to recover the losses through other stocks. Maybe borrow money from his parents for now. As long as he covered it quickly, he could still keep the lie intact. Regret burned through him. Why did I waste money on her gifts? He sneered inwardly. A fake bag would have fooled her anyway. Just then, Jiwon walked into the break room. "What are you doing here?" She smiled. "Yang's project just launched. We're all heading to the celebration dinner." "Come on." Panicked, Manhwa shoved the newspaper into the trash and forced a grin. He linked arms with Jiwon, laughing as they walked out together. Jiwon's gaze drifted briefly toward the trash can. The bold headline "MW Tech Bankrupt" flashed before her eyes. Her smile froze just for a second. At the barbecue party, Hyun cheerfully manned the grill. But Sumin's mocking tone broke the harmony. "Wow, Hyun, you're really good at this. Maybe you should quit your job and work at a barbecue place." Hyun fired back with a sweet smile. "I'm just multi-talented." "What about you, Sumin? What's your skill?" The air crackled between them. Sharp smiles, sharper words. Jiwon burst out laughing. Across the table, the department head watched her quietly. His eyes soft, tinged with a sadness he couldn't quite hide. Hyun had already told the department head about Jiwon's engagement to Min-Hwan. At that moment, it felt like the sky collapsed on him. Now, watching Jiwon and Manhwa smiling and whispering together, the bitterness and helplessness in his chest grew unbearable. What can I possibly do to stop her from marrying that man? Meanwhile, Sumin leaned closer to Manhwa with a bright, seductive smile, raising her glass. Tonight, she was determined. No matter what, she would take Manhwa for herself and destroy Jiwon's happiness. A few minutes later, the department head stepped out to take a call, and Agent Yang went to the restroom. Jiwon glanced at the two empty seats, then at Sumin clinging to Manhwa. Now's my chance, she thought coldly. Sumin kept teasing Manhwa, urging him to drink more. Ji-won interrupted. That's enough drinking for tonight. Let's wrap it up. She then offered to walk Sumin to Minhwan's car. Watching them leave, Minhwan's thoughts drifted. Honestly, Sumin's way cuter, and prettier too. In the car, Ji-won deliberately brought up how good Minhwan was to her, her tone dripping with affection. You know, she said with a dreamy smile, I'll never find anyone like Minhwan again. I'm so lucky that I'll hold on to him forever, and marry him soon. Sumin's lips curved into a silent sneer. After tonight, she thought, we'll see whose man he really is. Minhwan stepped out of the restaurant, smiling. I already called a driver, he said. Ji-won feigned surprise. My phone's still inside. I'll go grab it. Before turning away, she added sweetly, take care of Sumin for me, okay? Of course, Minhwan replied, secretly pleased. Ji-won's lips curled into a cold smile as she walked off. She'd done her part. Now it was time for Sumin's performance. Outside by the car, Sumin hugged herself and pouted that it's freezing. Minhwan, ever the gentleman, took off his jacket and draped it over her shoulders. Just wait a bit, Yeon will be right back. But Sumin pressed a finger to his lips. Don't mention her, she whispered softly. It's just us here. He froze. Minhwan appa, she cooed, voice trembling like silk. Don't be so distant with me. His restraint began to crack. You'll take me home, won't you? Their lips brushed and then met fully. When he finally pulled away, breathless, Sumin held on to him tighter, eyes burning. Appa, hold me again. Minhwan gave in completely, wrapping her in his arms once more. Not far away, Ji-won hid behind a corner, watching the scene through the car window. A faint smile curved on her lips. The first step of revenge had begun. But as she turned away, her vision blurred. Why were her tears falling so hard?